Ed, there's something I wanted to tell you. I'm now 4 decades and a little bit more into observing energy fields in this lifetime. And I've seen one thing, Ed. As a child and a teenager, we believe, Ed, the causes of events to be stuff like how much money you have at your disposal, are you born into a rich family, what kind of education you get, and how you treat other people. And going a little bit deeper, Ed, as we progress, we learn that things in our life are affected by our choices of partner, life partner, and so on. But Ed, I'll tell you something I've learned now that I've come so far, and I can see, look back at all the energy events that I've noticed. Ed, the thing that really moves a person in their life is their spiritual inheritance from their actual spiritual parents. And by spiritual, I mean real biological. Ed, the vast majority of society is born in spiritual dysphoria, which means that souls have taken birth in families that are not actually their energy signature. They are somewhat close in DNA, but they're not. And a huge majority of babies are actually placed in families and are actually made in labs and then implanted into women. And this has been going on for decades, at least 2 generations. Ed, and the idea that the thugs had behind that is that the spiritual makeup of the fake parents will extend into the children. But Ed, I have seen that this is not the case, and there is no spiritual connection between someone who's not a real parent or a real brother, real sister, real grandfather, real. There is no connection, Ed, other than spin emotional attachment, which is something like Stockholm syndrome. And that's the best it can get, Ed. And Ed, this is something that people need to know, that they can never escape their true spiritual inheritance. They can try their level best, Ed, to adjust into a fake family, look on the bright side, appreciate the good things, but they will never be spiritually embedded, and with it they will never be physically well until they face their own spiritual inheritance. It is inescapable, Ed. It is inescapable. You can be placed with people who look just like you and behave like you on the surface and have your same common hobbies, interests, everything. But if they are not of your spiritual line, your spiritual bloodline, you will never be happy there, and you will never be physically well. And I say this, Ed, more for the physical causes than the spiritual. Because, Ed, if you're physically healthy, then automatically spiritual well-being comes with it. It's true. If you're really physically well, you'll be spiritually happy. But you cannot attain spiritual wellness or physical wellness when you are not facing your spiritual inheritance. I'm not saying everyone must leave their family and go away, though that is what will happen eventually, this way or that, however you look at it. But I'm saying that all those people, Ed, who try to be physically well and they cannot, no matter what they do, they are entrenched, Ed, in addictions and energy pulls and magnetic pulls that refuse to let them go. Ed, it's because they're not facing their true spiritual inheritance. And it's because their mind is unable to comprehend that they have an identity, a spiritual and actual real physical identity that is different from those they are embedded with. And this, Ed, is the crisis of our times, because unless, Ed, we have the guts to face what our spirit is telling us in the face of evidence from the brain, in the face of a pseudo emotional connection, unless we are able to do that, Ed, we will stay embedded and we will make babies who then have to do what we could not do.